Hi guys, Paul here, and we're playing a bit more Infinifactory. Where did we get to? Right, so we did that one. Puzzle, munitions refill, type 6. As I said, yeah, been nice to click on it, but I'm not gonna buy the game. The story's great, you'll have great fun. Right, so we get one block coming out here. Let's put a bit of track, have a look at them. Bum, bum, bum. And we need to get them down into these three, 10 of each, into each one. So, now, again, there is a tempting way to do this. Please don't do it. Well, go on, do it. You just annoy. I won't see it. How can I be annoyed by what you're doing if I can't see it? I'm just talking nonsense now. Right, okay. Now, let me just actually make this a little bit longer and then we'll pause it. Now, look what you could do. Let's just snap it forward. Look what you could do. See? You can see that gap there? Oh, yes. Look at that gap. So, when there's one here, I could push these two off. Sense at the end, push those two off. So, let's try that. A sensor, spin it round to the right way, we'd leave a gap of, actually the conduit, even though it doesn't look like it should, it's not the real world physics, it will support things, it'll support like, bit of wire will support giant structures. Spin him round, more conduit, and I love that. Once you rotate that one, the next block you press, it remembers which way it is. This game is so incredibly polished from everything. The load times to the speed to the way the levels keep going. I think it is brilliant. I think it is an absolute masterpiece of a game. I think it is as polished and, you know. Anyway, right so. Okie dokie. So, let's just make sure that works first. They get down there. No, because I did. I should have. Tell you what I should do. I should watch my previous video where I explained that that doesn't work, and that works even less well. Perfect. So I mean. Obviously, I mean, you could put him up, you could put the sensor above and use a pusher, you know, for balance and for, you know, if you've got OCD and everything has to look right. But oh no, that won't work at all, though, will it? Spin. But like a conveyor there will work just as well. Reset that. He goes straight through. He can come off there. Whoosh. So, and look at it go. That's a Dota 2 reference. Fast forward this. And we're done. And you're thinking, yeah, a short video. He solved one. No. What's this? This is nonsense, what I've just done. This is rubbish. Never see it again. Why is this wrong? Why do you never, ever want to be doing this unless it is the only way of solving a problem? And again, maybe this doesn't, what I'm about to say doesn't apply to absolute seat of the pants, trying to break the cycle record or block counts or whatever, those ones. But we're not building them. I mean, this solution is not maximizing cycles, block count, or footprint. So what this is my, what I don't know what to call it. This is the simple, obvious way of solving the problem and getting it on. Why don't you want to do this? Because it relies on timing. It only works if the gap between him and it and it. These aren't male blocks. I don't know why I didn't think they were. But the gap between here and here is that gap. And if it isn't, this doesn't work. This just stops working. And the problem is it works fine here because, well, it won't actually. Hang on. So say I slow down the input rate. Well, it doesn't work anymore, does it? Even a -1. So what I'm showing here is like, I don't know if I'm not sure if I fully explained it. This solution is dependent not on the order of these pieces. I mean, these pieces are obviously still in the same order. It is dependent on the gap. This distance between here and here, and by definition, the distance, they're moving at a constant velocity, therefore, you know, the gap is exactly equivalent to the time between them. So the gap, the distance, whichever way you want to look at it, has to be right. And for a different gap, you probably could feck around, mess around with the sensors and put them, but it just is a disaster, because what will happen is you have something like this down the end of your factory, and then you oh, that didn't work. So you made a quick change at the back, which will then change won't change the order possibly, but it'll change the timing. You know, a block's gone a slightly different way to get around an obstacle, and then the entire rest of the factory will stop. And no, don't do this. I mean, well, obviously do it if this way. You know, if it's important, you do, but oh no, but don't. So what should you do instead? You should be doing what, now I call this staging, but that's only in my mind. It's not an official term, you know. Don't go saying to Zach or something about staging, you know, or writing letters, you know, to gaming magazines. I just call it staging. We are interested in 3 blocks. I mean, that's what I mean. In later ones, you wouldn't be delivering them into a single receptacle each. You'd be putting them in, you know, probably well in together. But the solution involves getting 3, and they're coming out at this rate. So you want to batch them. You need some concept that says, right, this steady linear flow, tick, 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 tick. No, we don't want that anymore. We want 3 at a time, 3 at a time. And so this does it. So how many do you want? I want 3. Put 3 grey platform squares in a row with a conveyor belt there and an end there. And like, just to prove it's a dead end, you can do that if that helps your mind. So the number there. So what happens? They batch up 3. Now can you see what's going to happen? This square here only gets filled when there are 3 of them, and this would work. You know, obviously you could send it to 8, you could send it to 60. I mean, you could have 20 of these. If the puzzle you are doing needs 20, then do this. Now it looks right. Oh, why would I could spin it around? No, don't. You just waste time. You waste effort. And again, this is not the most optimal way of solving these puzzles. You know, this type of design probably, almost certainly would not appear in the lowest footprint, the lowest block count one, but they do tend to be fairly extreme designs. As you saw, designs, you know, you basically build it with no conveyor, so it takes forever and pushes it through, or you build it, you know, so they're interesting in their own right, but not the way most people are building it when they're playing the game for the pure joy of actually getting the puzzle solved in the first place. This will help you because it helps me anyway, because it simplifies matters. So, what do you do then? Behind each of the grey blocks, you put a pusher. Above the last one, you put your sensor. So it's got to be a downward looking sensor, so you highlight it and you press the alternate key. Used to be Alt, now it's something different. Haven't rebound it. Link them together. Now, I know what you're saying. It's doing exactly the same thing and probably doesn't even look half as cool, and you've got 7 times more bits. But the important thing is, this gap here is now only dependent on the order. As long as, now, and again, this isn't mean all these blocks are, in this case, the same type. But, you know, they mightn't be. You might have 2 pink ones, a blue one, and a red one, and then you've got to put them together in a particular pattern. As long as they get into this in that order, it doesn't matter about the timing between them. See? This works at, we're at -1, go to -10. It'll work very slowly at -10, but it still works. You know, there is no sensors hanging back on conveyor belts with a gap in them that absolutely rely on those 2 pieces being exactly that far apart. It works then, and if I put it up to max, it works on max too. It can't go wrong, and I can't stress, and if you don't like this, if you go, God, this is awful, I never want to see this again, don't watch any more of my videos, because this gets used everywhere, like 3 or 4 times per level. I don't know what you want to call it, batching, staging, grouping, counting, but this is my staple. This is how I solve them, and I think it makes everything a lot simpler because the dreaded timing stuff. Anyway, that was Munitions puzzle Munitions refill type 6. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you had fun. Hope you found it a bit enlightening. If you think it's all nonsense, all right, whatever. Okay, thanks, guys. See you in the next video when we will be doing shuttle propulsion units. Thanks again.